We're running behind schedule. We're going to start with Keith Downey, Sky Sports, please.
Morning, Steve.
Keith, good morning.
Can I just start, as ever, with your injuries, please? Have you got any of the lads back for this one?
We might have Isaac and Sean Longstaff. We've got a problem with Emil. He took a nasty whack to his ankle. We'll see how he is in the next 24 hours. But if they come through, then Isaac and Sean might be available for the weekend.
So obviously, with you saying with the injury to Kraft, that would leave you even shorter at the back. You're not getting any of the centre backs available, no?
No, unfortunately not. No, I mean, yeah, we've got 6 centre backs on the books and 5 of them are injured. It's quite remarkable. And the one stand-in that we put in there, he's got injured too. So it's a bit of a sod's law, but there we have it. We've been, unfortunate in injuries this year, in my opinion, but and that sums us up at the minute in that respect.
I know you had the youngster Kel Watts in the squad last week. Does that maybe mean that he could make his debut?
Well, I mean, there's a possibility. But the only thing is with the boy hasn't played for something like 5 months, which is a big ask if you haven't played at all. Now, he was out on loan and did very, very well. And we're very, very pleased with his progress. But it's a big, big ask to ask somebody to come in and make their debut when you haven't had a game under your belt for so long. So that's in with my thought process.
And I know Andy sort of put his hand up and offered to play centre back last week if needed. Could he then come into play?
I think we'll leave Andy where he is. It's a long, long time ago. But I think we'll leave Andy where he is.
Just in terms of the season in general, what happens then after Sunday? I mean, do you know how long we're going to have off?
Term around. I mean, it's not official yet, but I think everybody's talking about the 12th of September as the restart. So we'll have a break for 3 weeks. I think it's vitally important because during lockdown, we asked the players to adhere to a programme, which they all did. So I think it's vitally important that they have a break, at least for a couple of weeks. And then we have a 3-week programme similar to what we've just been through before the lockdown. So again, it's on grounds where we've never been before. So it's difficult. But I do think it's vitally important that everybody needs a break. They've been going a long, long time now, the players. As I said, during lockdown, we asked them to continue a programme which was pretty physical. So I think they need a break and then we'll go from there.
I guess the players' bodies have had to, or are having to get used to a whole new regime and a whole new way of working.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult because, the one thing we do, it's all repetitive, isn't it? We're creatures of habit in this industry. When we train, how long we train for, and everything is now geared around sports science and all the rest of it. So it's difficult for everybody concerned, that's for sure.
Obviously, after Liverpool on Monday, that's a transfer window open. Obviously, so much uncertainty at the club. I think you said after Brighton that it would be business as usual, and that's just the way you're going to have to work it. Are you in a position after Monday that despite the takeover talk in the background, you are able to make a move for a player if you want to bring someone in?
Yeah, of course. So all the supporters listening to that, yes, of course. When I say business as usual, we've got 1 or 2 things in the fire right now. Let's hope we can pull them off. We've got competition, but I think that's going to be right the way throughout the summer. So look, as soon as it opens, we'll go to work and let's see if we can improve the squad and keep taking the club forward.
That must comfort you a little bit then, Steve, because I think a lot of people just expected everything to be on hold until we got a resolution to the takeover.
No, I mean, that's not the case. I mean, look, I've said many, many times, Keith, we need that decision to be made one way or the other. And but the only thing I can do at the minute, along with Lee, is to keep planning as best we can, and that includes obviously the transfer market and of course, for a lot of clubs, Keith, even without a takeover, I think a lot of clubs will be taking stock of the situation with no income from season tickets and, a large chunk of money missing from, the TV rights. There's a lot of things going on, which obviously a lot of planning has been disrupted because of what's happened in the world. So I think a lot of people will be cutting their cloth. I think a lot of people will be. I don't think there'll be huge transfers like there was and like there is in the past. Now, of course, some of the big clubs, some of the really big clubs will be able to do it, but a lot will be will find it very tough.
With the injuries to Lascelles and Shah, will that mean you might need to look to bring in a centre back, at least one as well?
Well, we're hoping that there could be, even with Shah having an operation. Look, we've got 6 on the books. And if you're going to play a back 4, then usually, you have 2 for every position. So we'll see how they are. We hope.
Yeah, Steve, I think we got to the end of what you were saying there about the defensive situation, and you think you've probably got enough centre backs. I might have missed it last week. Shah, do you know how long he's going to be out?
Well, he has an operation this afternoon, so we're hoping that hopefully 8 weeks, 6 weeks. But we are hoping that when the season is about to start, he's going to be there or thereabouts, and that goes for Lascelles. We think he can stop, and all the ones who are injured, Dummett, Jurgen Clark. We hope all of them can join in training when we resume on probably the 17th of August.
I know you said you talk about the situation with the guys you've got on loan once the season finished. Obviously, they'll all be off on Monday and away. Is there any decision being made on any of those lads yet?
No, we'll have the conversations. I'm going to sit down with Lee after the season finishes, and of course find out the respective positions that the clubs find and what they want for their players and this, that, and the other. But there's no doubt the three of them, in their own way, have certainly helped us. For example, Danny, we haven't had a left back. We haven't brought Danny in. We'd been toiling in that position. And Ben Taleb, since the break, has come back very, 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 very well. The one who hasn't had the game time really is Lazaro. But on the quiet, I've been very pleased with him. So we'll see. We'll see what the situation is, what sort of money they're looking for, their parent club, and make a decision after that.
Last question from me. I know it's early in the morning, but we're asking all managers this today. VAR introduced this season. Going into the last game, are you able to, in 1 or 2 words, sum up how it's been for you and your experience of it?
Disappointing it's been for me, and hugely frustrating. And I think what we brought it in for was to make the clear and obvious. When a goal, the goal that springs to mind straight away is Thierry Henry's against the Republic all them years ago. The blatant handball. It was brought in for me to erase all them. Now we're looking at margins, and too often, and for me, it's not been a success at all.
Brilliant. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Keith. Vicky Sparks, PLP.
Hiya, Steve.
Good morning.
Just generally for a moment, looking back at this, your first season at Newcastle, apart from all the strangeness that everybody's endured, how would you assess it?
Well, it's certainly been long, and I still didn't think that we'd be sitting at the end of July nearly, and the season not finished. But look, I've really enjoyed it, lows and all. It's a great club, and I've learned a lot. Even been in it a long time, I learned a lot of how it works. But overall, we've done okay. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah, what are your hopes then for taking this club forward, given everything as it stands at the moment?
Well, I'm sure the next question you're going to ask me is about takeover, and I think we need a bit of clarity on that. I've said enough on that. But if not, then look, a lot of clubs as well now have absolutely what's just happened in the world, especially the lower clubs, where some of them are struggling to exist. So I think there's going to be a big reality check in that respect. So, it's going to be difficult for all of us, and of course us as well. And the one thing that we have to do is what I've said is the longer you're in the Premier League, the bigger and better that you become. Now it's our 3rd year, and let's be fair, we've comfortably stayed up this year, but we can't just be happy with that. we've got to try and keep moving the club forward and adding that little bit of quality, which improves you. Now, I think in the summer, with St Maximum and Almiron in particular, they've improved us. So we've got to try and keep improving and see what we can do this summer.
Let's talk about Liverpool. I think we're running out of words, Steve, but what a season it's been for them.
And last season. And, with what's he been there now, Jurgen? 5 years? Quite incredible. And when you look at that team and that squad of players and what they've put together, they're young, so they could be around for a long, long time. So, and of course, and the way, but just to slaughter the league like they have, you can only just applaud them, because to be 20 odd points clear of it, they practically won the league before lockdown. So quite a remarkable achievement. Congratulations to them all. They're a breath of fresh air. Certainly, Jurgen is something that you think, the energy and what he gives, is quite incredible. So congratulations to them all.
Yeah, I'm interested. Is Jurgen Klopp as likeable behind the cameras as he is in front of the cameras?
Well, I don't really know him. But I was just asked a question there before about changes in management. He gets so close to his players, and there's a huge bond between them, which probably back 10 years ago wouldn't have been possible to manage that way. But certainly, you take your hat off to him. He's been a breath of fresh air since he's come to the Premier League. He's box office, isn't he? He's as good as you get, and in a different way to most, but hugely successful. And congratulations to him. He's been terrific.
And just finally from me, obviously Newcastle visited Anfield all the way back in September. The defeat there, along with that cracker from Jetro Williams. Did you have an inkling then that Liverpool would go on to have such a dominant season?
Oh, I think we all had, because of the season before. I mean, I think they got beat the season before and only lost once, didn't they? They were close, very, very close. And as I've said, they're young, and certainly, the additions of the goalkeeper and Van Dijk in particular, that front three are electrifying. They're just a very, very good team. Where the rest, as I've said, the way they've slaughtered the Premier League this year is a big worry for everybody. But so they're the ones to catch.
Thanks, Vicky. Don Thulis, Lugnath.
Hi, Steve. Good morning. Bearing what you've just said in mind, is Liverpool on the last day of the season a good way to end it for you at St James's Park this season?
Well, I hope they've been partying for 3 nights after they've lifted that trophy, and I hope there's a few of them a bit worse for wear. No, the professionalism, I don't think there will be. And look, the way they went about their jobs the other night against Chelsea, they're a great, great side. We did particularly well against them down there for a while at Anfield. So it's always great when the top clubs come, because that's what you can compare. That's what we've got to aspire to. They're a great, great team at the minute. So let's enjoy the last game of the season and see what we can do.
Also, it might just be for your players a chance to have one final lift their game, if you like, for one final time this season.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you play against the big teams, what you need is obviously the crowd to help you along the way, which I think behind the closed doors has helped the bigger clubs in particular, because, but look, you're absolutely right. The one thing you want to do as a pro is to compete against the best. And these are as good as you get at the minute. The team, the championship team, the best team in the Premier League, the Champions League winners, the Club World Cup winners. They're a great, great side. So let's enjoy the challenge of taking them on.
You've talked a bit about business you're trying to do at the moment. Are you expecting to have a pretty busy summer or not?
I hope so. And that's my job, to keep knocking down the door and asking the question. And I'll be doing everything I possibly can to make sure that we are going to try and be busy. We know that we need to improve. We know that we want to keep moving the club forward. So the only way we can do it is in windows like is opening on Monday. And but I think there'll be a big reality check right across the board in terms of of what's just happened, not just in football, the world. So we've got to box clever make sure we get good value for money and make sure we can improve the squad.
Do you think the situation has changed football for the long term?
Yes, I would think so. And I think a lot of business and companies might be doing the same. I think everybody who works in an office, for example, and who can work from home, will that employee be thinking, well, why do we need all this office space when they can do the same job at home? So I think the whole world is probably changing in that respect, and I think it'll take a long, long time before it's back to normal, shall we say? And certainly in football, I came through the lower divisions, so I can speak for them when I think I think a lot of them will find it just a huge, big struggle to even survive, which is sad when you think that it's been going for 100 years.
They're talking about possibly allowing fans back in stadiums in October sometime, but possibly with a maximum capacity of 17%. Is that better than nothing?
Yeah, better than nothing. But I mean, when will we ever get to full capacity is anybody's guess. I think it's going to be fair way off. So look, a lot of people have worked extremely hard to get the season even finished. So the next step is now, how can we make, obviously there's a few events coming up outside of football. Let's hope they're a success. And let's see what we can get, because I think what we've already realised is that football without the supporters, it's just not the same. And the quicker the better, certainly for the following what we've got. I think we're at a huge advantage at St James's Park with the following we've got. So the quicker the better, as far as I'm concerned.
And you've talked about the players having a couple of weeks off. Are you going to be able to have any sort of holiday?
I'm going to try. I think it's vitally important that you have to try. Of course, communication now is easier than it's ever been, with the way we're doing it now. So I'll be in regular contact with Lee, of course, but I think it's vitally important that you have a break. Certainly I need a break, so I'll be trying my best.
Well, I hope we get to see you face to face very soon, and good luck for the weekend.
Thanks ever so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Simon O'Rourke.
Hi, Steve. I've just got a couple. Football's great lockdown experiment of 2020 is nearly over. Mentally and physically, how hard has this project restart been?
Mentally and physically, very, very difficult. But I have to tell you, last night, I'm thinking, where's the football match? In the end, I ended up with Juventus. I think we've been spoilt now, 3 games a day for a month. Even us, football people have been saying, so look, well done to everybody concerned to get us this far. But certainly people need a break. And not just the players, my staff who work tirelessly. It's been a long, long, hard shift. So I think everybody needs a couple of weeks off at least.
So I'm going to talk about more work, but you've been through a few pre-seasons as a player and a manager. Yes, there's uncertainty in the world. Yes, there's uncertainty at Newcastle, but does it give you some comfort that you know what needs to happen between the end of this season and the start of next one?
Well, yeah, because we've just replicated it basically, because we're going to have a 3-week break. And then we'll have a 3-week program. Usually it's, we're off for 6-7 weeks and we have a 6-7 week program of pre-season to get us back up and running. So I think we'll just replicate what we've just done in the last 2-3 weeks. I think it's vitally important that people have a break, because we've asked the players during lockdown to make sure they keep themselves physically right, which was important. And to be fair to them, they all did that. But I do think they need to give their bodies a rest and try and get a complete recovery if they can.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, broadcasters. Written titles will be with you in just a moment. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function now. Thank you.